Right. Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel, tap that notification bell, and like this video. It does help me keep making videos, and I would appreciate it majorly. Okay, so a woman in Germany is on trial for and could potentially spend the rest of her life in prison. She's on trial for committing war crimes, murder, membership in a terrorist organization, and weapon offenses. Her name is Jennifer Wenisch. They say her age is 27. That doesn't make sense to me, but I believe that she is 27. It's just the reporting here is just not totally correct. I don't know. So her offenses are, I'll get to those in a second, but in 2013, when she was in 8th grade, which would have made her about 14 years old, that's 2013. If you fast forward 6 years to 2019, that would make her 20 years old today. That's why I don't understand how she's 27. But in any event, she converted to Islam in 2013, and then in 2014, August 2014, she took off and headed to Iraq through Turkey and Syria. Wenisch, who reportedly left school after 8th grade and converted to Islam in 2013, left Germany in August 2014 and traveled via Turkey and Syria to Iraq, where she joined ISIS and at some point married this man who's not on trial. I don't believe he ever left Iraq. So let me just paraphrase real quick. She's accused of letting a 5-year-old girl that was basically a slave to her husband die of heat exposure and thirst. And her husband was punishing this 5-year-old girl, a Yazidi girl. A Yazidi mother and her daughter were sold to them as slaves. I guess they were captured in Iraq or Syria at some point. Yazidis are an ethnic religious minority. It's a religion that goes back to like Mesopotamia. I don't know it real great. I looked it up right now, even though I'm vaguely familiar with it. And my wife is Persian, and I believe there's a small Yazidi population in Iran. And they're not looked on kindly by people who are strict Muslims, you know, because they worship a totally different God. It's not Christian, or even though it draws from Christianity and Judaism, and it's just this ancient religion. And they basically, Yazidis are, but the religion is their like nationality. That's their ethnic identity as well. I didn't know that until I looked it up on Wikipedia. But in any event, so this Yazidi mother and her child were sold to this ISIS husband of Jennifer Wenisch, and he tortured them. But the 5-year-old girl had wet her bed. According to this report, and as punishment, he chained her outside, I think, to a tree in the blazing Iraqi sun, and she died of heat exposure and thirst. And the Yazidi girl, Jennifer Wenisch, essentially just didn't do anything to stop it. So that's one of her offenses. At some point, I think in 2016, shortly after the girl's death, she went to the German embassy in Turkey, and the Turkish authorities arrested her, even though I'm not sure how, they probably, I don't know, they had known she had fled Germany. I don't know what they actually arrested her on, but they extradited her back to Germany. And, for a time in Germany, in her home, I think it's Lower Saxony, I'm not positive of that, hopefully I'll get to that in the report. She was allowed to go free, but they set up this FBI like sting. I don't know why the FBI got involved in a German citizen, but they did. And he was like undercover, and he befriended her because she was trying to get back to ISIS and back to Iraq, and so he got her talking in a car that was bugged, and there was literally German police following them, listening to the live transmission as she's telling the FBI agent, the undercover informant, actually not an agent, an informant, everything that had happened to this poor girl. So, and at that point they did arrest her, and now she's on trial today. These photos are literally from Tuesday. Today, I don't know what time it is in Germany right now. And, German law, they're very big on privacy, and so she's allowed to cover her face, and they will not publish her face in German outlets. And I wasn't able to find what she looked like anyways. in other newspapers. So it's 3:24 p.m. So you know, that's probably from about 5 or 6 hours ago. So I don't really know for sure. But and in addition to that, I don't understand German law. It's a criminal proceeding, but the mother of the Yazidi mother of the Yazidi 5-year-old child girl that was killed, that died, you know, she is a co-plaintiff in this proceeding, in this legal proceeding. So Amal Clooney, the human rights attorney that is married to George Clooney, who's quite famous. I don't know if she actually has some kind of UN position, but I know one of the things she has worked on is getting the genocide against Yazidi populations recognized as genocide. And so she's representing the mother as the co-plaintiff, even though it's not a civil proceeding, but it's German law, and I don't fully understand that. All right, so, you know, it's the first time ever, they said, for some reason, that I guess because of you know, the unique circumstances of it. Prominent human rights lawyer Amal Clooney is part of a team representing the dead girl's mother, but she is not expected to appear in the Munich trial on Tuesday. A German woman who joined ISIS has gone on trial today, accused of letting a 5-year-old Yazidi slave girl die of thirst. The defendant, Jennifer Wenisch, 27, faces life in jail, found guilty of committing a war crime, murder, membership in a terrorist organization, and weapons offenses. The case against her is believed to be the first anywhere in the world for international crimes committed by ISIS jihadis against Yazidis. Okay, that's the first. This woman was also part of the morality police of ISIS. So she literally used to, you know, one of her jobs was to basically patrol the public places, parks inside, I think it's Mosul and Fallujah, with an AK-47 strapped with a, an explosive vest, and monitor women's behavior so that they were adhering to like the strictest Islamic law. You know, why she would have an explosive vest for that duty is, you know, I don't know. So it says German prosecutors allege her ISIS husband had purchased the Yazidi child and her mother, a co-plaintiff in the trial, as household slaves and held them captive while living in then-occupied Mosul, Iraq in 2015. After the girl fell ill and wet her mattress, the husband of the accused chained her up outside as punishment and let the child die an agonizing death of thirst in the scorching heat, prosecutors charged. The accused allowed her husband to do so and did nothing to save the girl. German media said the defendant's husband, Taha Sabah Nouri Alji, had beaten both the Yazidi mother and child, and that Wenisch allegedly also once held a pistol to the woman's head. Recruited in mid-2015 to an anti-vice squad of the group's self-styled Hizbah morality police, she patrolled city parks in ISIS-occupied Fallujah and Mosul, armed with an AK-47 rifle, a pistol, and an explosive vest. Her task was to ensure women complied with ISIS behavior and clothing regulations, prosecutors said. In 2016, months after the Yazidi child's death, Wenisch visited the German embassy in Ankara to apply for new identity papers. And this is where she basically was arrested by Turkish authorities. I don't know, you know, I guess they just knew she had fled Germany. When she left the mission, I guess they mean embassy there, she was arrested by Turkish security services and extradited several days later to Germany for lack of actionable evidence against her. At the time, she was allowed to return to her home in the German state of Lower Saxony, but quickly sought to return to ISIS territory. Der Spiegel reported an FBI informant had posed as an accomplice who offered to take Wenisch back to the ISIS caliphate, chatted with her in a bugged car while they drove through Germany. Wenisch allegedly said that the death of the little girl had been hardcore even for ISIS and unjust because only God had the right to use fire as punishment. So she basically was saying her husband had used fire, you know, to torture the little girl, and he was later beaten by ISIS for actually, that's like a violation because, as she said, supposedly only God can do that. Her husband had later been beaten as punishment by ISIS, she said. Police followed close behind her vehicle for several hours and listened to a live audio feed as Wenisch spoke and then arrested her at a highway stop. like I said, Clooney, the wife of Hollywood star George Clooney, Amal Clooney, has been involved in a campaign with Nobel Peace Prize winner Nadia Murad, a former ISIS sex slave, to have crimes against the Yazidi minority be recognized as genocide. So, you know, it's pretty crazy, and I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it turns out, and hello, nice. Just have to look at them from here. So that is the story there, man. Alrighty, man. Alrighty. That's it. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I will see you in the next video. Later, man.